In this unit we're going to take a look at ramps within Revit architecture. I'm going to show you how to create your own ramps, including landings, and how to edit ramp types and create additional ramp types as required. Now you may wonder why I've got a ramp and a desk in this model, and really it's just to reiterate again the difference between system families and component families within Revit. It's a fundamental difference between the two family types. A ramp in Revit is created with the ramp tool and it's a system family, i.e. in a project in which you're working, if you need a ramp you use the ramp tool, and Revit, i.e. the system, creates the element on the fly, if you like, in real time, where and when you need it. So it's a system family. I can't save this completed object, this ramp, as a separate file outside of this project. That's fundamentally different to this family here, which is a component stroke loadable family. Typically these are created with the family editor, which is a separate part of Revit, which allows you to create these standalone loadable families, similar in many ways to blocks in AutoCAD. Now these can be saved outside of the project. These are the typical BIM objects that you download from the internet, from manufacturers' websites, for example. And I say they can exist outside of the project. So system family, like a ramp, created in a project environment when you need it. A loadable component family created using the family editor and can exist outside of a particular project. So let's go ahead and create a basic ramp. Start off by deleting that desk, and we'll delete the ramp that we've already created and start afresh. So I'm going to switch to a plan view. It's the easiest in which to create your ramp. So we find the ramp command on the architecture menu, circulation panel, and ramp. Now creating ramps in Revit is very similar to creating stair by components, which we've already looked at. You can see the panel up here on the ribbon is almost identical. So the properties palette, we have our ramp types. Remember, we've just said they are system families, and as such you can edit type and duplicate. Come back to that a little later in the unit and show you how to create your own ramp types. So just like stairs, we need to tell it the two levels we want to span between. So I'm going to start at level 0 and I'm going to go up to level 0 plus an offset of 600. So overall I'm going up 600 mil. Just watch out the levels that you actually select for that. Obviously if you've got your main levels as story heights and you forget to change them or apply the appropriate offsets, you're going to need a pretty long ramp to get up between story heights in your project. So just for the sake of this demonstration, I'm just going to rise up 600 mil, hence having the base level and the top level both set to level 0, but applying an offset to that top level. Okay, start off by creating a run. Click our start point, and you may recall from stair by component it looked very similar to this, where it told us the number of risers that we'd created and that were remaining. Obviously there's no risers in a ramp, but it does tell us the length, how much we've created and how much there is remaining to fulfill the requirements of getting up 600 mil in our model. So click past the end there, and you can see the sketch lines that Revit's using to create this, very similar to the stair by sketch we looked at in a previous unit. So we've got lines at the end and we've got green boundary lines at the side. Again on our ribbon at the end, the railing options, so I'm going to leave it on 900 pipe. It's just like stair by component, it's going to create railings at the same time it creates the ramp. So let's go ahead and hit the green tick and create our ramp. Switch to a 3D view, and there is our completed ramp. So we've got a basic ramp under our belt. Let's go and create another one now and add an intermediate landing. Go back to our plan view. Remember, architecture, ramp, put it on run. Remember to check those levels. Swap that back down. We're going to go up 600 mil again overall. Click a start point. Remember, I can move the cursor in any direction to tell Revit where I want this ramp to be. Remember the blue temporary dimension. I could actually type a length in there directly into the keyboard now to create the first run. So just like with stair by component, if you want to put a landing in, all you need to do is click inside this first run and then click again where you want the next run to start. And it's automatically adding in landings in between. Again, they don't have to be in a straight line. And finally, to place the last run. There's the completed sketch with the intermediate landings in place. Select your ramp type, hit the green tick, and there is the completed ramp with landings. Just switch to a 3D view and take a look at it there. Creating new ramp types is as easy as selecting a ramp that's similar to what you're after, hitting edit type, hitting the duplicate button, giving it a unique name, and from there you can change the properties and the parameters of your new ramp type. I'm going to cover this just slightly later on in the unit, the shape there, that parameter there. You can change the thickness, what the function of the ramp is for. You can control the text size and the font for the annotations on it. What the ramp is made out of. Just by category, it will always use the material that's set for the ramp category, but if you've got a different material you want, you can pick from there. Just hit the little button at the end and the materials browser will open and you can select a material. You can also define some key design parameters here, the maximum incline length that you want it to go to. So you can tie this in with your local building regulations, and you can actually define the maximum ramp slope there. Depending on your design, you may need your ramp to be tapered in section. So if I switch to a side-on view, let's go to a south elevation of this ramp. So you can see here that the ramp in its thickness and its cross section is uniform all the way along its length. But if, for example, this was a mass concrete ramp, so it's cast in situ, we'd actually want that to be tapered and not uniform. Now, whether it is uniform or tapered is a parameter of the ramp type, and I'm going to show you how we can change that now. Just going to switch back to a 3D view. So there's our ramp. Let's select the ramp itself. Go to edit type, and at the top there, the first parameter you can see is called shape, and there's a drop down there. Now you can change it between two values, thick or solid. Let's just pull that over so we can see it clearly. So on thick, the thickness of the ramp is uniform along its length. But if I select the second option there, solid, and apply that, you can see that we now have a tapered ramp. Let's go back to our south elevation, see it clearly there. Turn shading on. So we've now got a tapered ramp that could be, for example, made out of mass concrete cast in situ. In the previous unit we looked at railings and we saw how ramps could act as hosts for railings, as in this example here. When you create your ramp, railings are generated automatically as two separate elements, one on each side. So if I switch back to a plan view, just run through that very quickly again. Ramp, going to just go up 600 mil, and it's at that point there on the ribbon during the ramp creation process we can override that default setting and choose a particular railing type. Hit OK. Go ahead and define our ramp sketch. Hit the green tick, and there you'll see the completed ramp with its railings.
And that completes this unit. To get the most out of this training material, please take the complete course online at bimscape.com. Here you will find a complete learning management system that allows you to work through the course at your own pace. Comprehensive written tutorials provide additional information to that found in the training videos. Mark each unit as complete as you finish it and move on to the next. At any point you can return to any of the units you have previously completed to go over the material again. If you'd like to take this course online, please visit www.bimscape.com/Revit for details.